Welcome to Neural Nexus Podcast, where we explore the hottest topics shaping the world. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be taking a closer look at the life and legacy of Greg Gumbel, the sportscasting legend, who we sadly lost recently. Now, you've probably seen the headlines. But today we're going to go beyond just the surface and really uncover what made his journey so remarkable. From, those early days in Chicago, to becoming a voice that millions of us knew and loved. And of course, the lasting legacy that he leaves behind.
It is interesting to think about how his story began long before, those bright lights of network television. Greg Gumbel was born in New Orleans but raised in Chicago, a city with diehard fans and a rich sports history. Do you think that environment played a role in shaping him?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can practically trace that influence throughout his career.
Yeah.
He got his start locally in Chicago at WMAQ-TV before hitting the national stage with ESPN and MSG. And yeah, here's a fun fact for you. He actually hosted the very first morning show on WFAN. Talk about planting the seeds for a career in sports radio.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that his move to ESPN coincided with, the very early days of cable sports. That was a truly transformative period in broadcasting. Cable was shaking things up, and ESPN was right at the forefront.
And it wasn't just about being in the right place at the right time, was it? He didn't just have one role at MSG. He was calling NBA games, announcing for the Knicks, hosting pre- and post-game shows for the Yankees, and even doing radio. I mean, that kind of versatility is pretty remarkable,
Right.
especially back then.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about his talent and his incredible work ethic. Not everyone could juggle all of that and excel at each one.
Okay, but wait. It gets even crazier. He went on to cover MLB, NBA, and even the Olympics. Gumbel truly did it all.
Yeah.
I was reading this interview from 1994, where he attributed his success to meticulous preparation and what he called his guardian angels, the researchers at CBS.
It's easy to forget just how crucial researchers were back then, before the internet, put every stat and fact at our fingertips. Gumbel was known for his meticulous preparation, wanting to know everything about the players, the teams, the history behind each matchup. And that's where the researchers came in.
So those researchers were basically his secret weapon.
They were unsung heroes, that's for sure. Imagine trying to pull together all that information without Google or instant access to databases. And it wasn't just about having the facts. It was about understanding the context, the nuances. That kind of in-depth knowledge helped Gumbel build trust with viewers.
I bet there was some close calls. I remember him joking about wanting to give those researchers T-shirts. That said, I saved Greg's ass in Norway during the Lillehammer Olympics.
Classic Gumbel, right? A little humor mixed with that humble acknowledgement of the team behind him.
Definitely. But that dedication to his craft, that attention to detail, it really shines through when we consider another pivotal moment in his career, becoming the first black announcer to call the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we can't gloss over that. Super Bowl XXXV in 2001. Talk about a barrier-breaking moment. Do you think he went into it thinking, I'm making history here? It's hard to say for sure, but there's no doubt that his presence in that booth was a powerful statement. Think about it. For so long, the faces and voices of major sports broadcasting were overwhelmingly white. And then comes Greg Gumbel, this incredibly talented and respected broadcaster, taking his place on the biggest stage in American sports.
It's more than just a symbolic victory, right? It's about representation, about showing a generation of young people, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds, that they too could dream of sitting in that booth one day.
Exactly. It's about challenging assumptions, opening doors, and paving the way for a more inclusive future in sports broadcasting. It's a legacy that extends far beyond the game itself.
And he didn't stop there. He went on to join the NFL today alongside Terry Bradshaw. Talking about a powerhouse duo in football broadcasting. They had a real chemistry, didn't they?
They really did. You had Bradshaw, the former quarterback with his folksy charm and outspoken personality. And then Gumbel, the calm and collected professional, providing that balance and insightful commentary. It was a winning formula, that's for sure. And let's not forget his long tenure as the voice of March Madness. He only stepped away from that very recently in 2024 due to some family health issues.
I think for a lot of us, March Madness just won't be the same without hearing his voice calling those incredible games. Those buzzer beaters, those Cinderella stories. He really had a way of capturing the excitement and the emotion of the tournament.
Yeah, he was a fixture for those big moments in sports. Think about how many Super Bowls, World Series, NBA Finals, Olympic Games he covered. Over a career spanning 50 years, he witnessed some incredible feats, amazing athleticism, and those heart-stopping upsets. that no one sees coming.
And it's not just about the big championships, right? It's about all those regular season games, those early round tournament matchups, the moments that might not make the highlight reels, but still matter to the players and the fans.
Absolutely. Gumbel brought the same level of professionalism and passion to every broadcast. No matter the stakes, he understood that each game had its own story to tell, and he wanted to tell it in a way that would engage and inform his audience.
I think that's what made him so relatable. He wasn't just reporting the scores. He was sharing the stories behind the games. You know, the human dramas that make sports so compelling.
And he did it all with such grace and class. He wasn't flashy or trying to steal the spotlight. He let the game and the athletes be the stars.
He wasn't just a commentator. He was a storyteller. CBS Sports president David Burson called him a tremendous broadcaster and gifted storyteller.
Yeah.
And I think that's spot on. You always felt like you were listening to a friend who just happened to have the best seat in the house.
He had this way of making you feel like you were right there in the stadium or arena with him, whether it was the thrill of a last-second shot, the heartbreak of a tough loss, or the sheer joy of victory. He conveyed those emotions with such authenticity.
It's amazing to think about how much the world of sports changed during his career. From the rise of cable and the internet, to the globalization of sports, and the changing demographics of athletes and fans. He was there for it all.
Yeah, he was a witness to history, a chronicler of those defining moments that shaped the sports landscape as we know it. And he did it all with a sense of perspective and historical context that you don't always find in sports commentary.
It's interesting to note that he is survived by his brother Bryant Gumbel, another giant in broadcast journalism. Talent clearly runs in that family.
Absolutely. And while Greg Gumbel's accomplishments are undeniably impressive, I think it's his legacy of professionalism, integrity, and that genuine warmth that will truly endure.
Okay, I'm going to push back a bit here. We hear those words, professionalism, integrity, lots especially when someone passes away. But what do they really mean in the context of Greg Gumbel's career and his impact?
That's a fair point. It's easy to fall into those platitudes. But with Gumbel, those words carry real weight. He represented a certain standard of excellence in sports broadcasting. He was known for his fairness, his respect for the game, and his ability to connect with viewers from all walks of life.
It's like he understood that sports at its core is about human connection and shared experiences. It's about those moments that bring us together, whether we're cheering for the same team or rivals.
Precisely. He didn't let the hype or the pressure of those big moments get in the way of his commitment to fair and insightful commentary.
You know, in an industry that can often be driven by ego and ambition, Greg Gumbel remained grounded and focused on the bigger picture.
It's true. He never lost sight of the fact that his role wasn't to be the center of attention, but to elevate the game and the athletes he was covering. And he did that with a genuine warmth and respect for everyone involved. It's no wonder he was so universally loved and admired by his colleagues, the athletes and the fans.
So we've talked about his versatility, his dedication to preparation, breaking barriers, becoming a beloved voice in sports, and his legacy of professionalism and integrity. But as we start to wrap up this deep dive, I think there's a bigger question we need to grapple with. What is Greg Gumbel's most enduring legacy? What will be the thing that people remember most about him 50 years from now?
That's a great question. It's easy to point to the championships he called, the barriers he broke, the longevity of his career. Those are all remarkable achievements, but I think it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like his influence goes beyond the world of sports broadcasting. We often hear about athletes being role models, but Greg Gumbel embodied those qualities in the broadcasting booth. He showed us you can reach the pinnacle of success without sacrificing your integrity, kindness, or humility.
Right. In a profession that can sometimes be driven by ego and the pursuit of the next big contract, he remained remarkably grounded. He always seemed to understand that it wasn't about him. It was about the game, the athletes, and the viewers at home.
And that genuine humility really resonated with people. You never got the sense that he was putting on an act or trying to be someone he wasn't. It was that authenticity, that genuine warmth that drew people to him.
His legacy extends beyond his on-air accomplishments. He was a mentor to many young broadcasters, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds. He was a champion for diversity in the industry and a true ambassador for the sports he loved.
It's inspiring to think about the impact he had on aspiring broadcasters, particularly those who didn't see a lot of people who looked like them on their screens growing up.
Imagine being a young, aspiring sportscaster and seeing Greg Gumbel in that Super Bowl booth. It's a powerful message, a message of possibility, of inclusion. of breaking down barriers.
His impact went beyond just broadcasting, would you say? He showed us what it means to be a true professional, a role model, and a decent human being. Those qualities are timeless, and I think that's what will ultimately define his legacy.
I couldn't agree more. The trophies and accolades are important, but they eventually fade. It's that intangible quality, that combination of talent, grace, and humanity that will truly stand the test of time.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from his journey from those Chicago roots to his groundbreaking achievements, his incredible versatility, and of course the warmth and professionalism that made him a friend to millions. But as we wrap up this deep dive into the life and legacy of Greg Gumbel, I want to leave you with this thought. What will be Greg Gumbel's most enduring legacy? What will be the thing that people remember most about him 50 years from now?
It's a question worth pondering. He set a high bar not just for broadcasters, but for all of us. His career was a testament to the power of preparation, the importance of integrity, and the impact we can have when we use our platform to elevate others.
A huge thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.